Welcome to the do's and don'ts of buy-to-lets. So in this video, I wanted it to be a little bit different, where actually I kind of wanted a quick fire. So not the informative lesson side of things, but more deep diving around the do's and don'ts and what you should and shouldn't do within buy-to-let property investment. If you are new to the channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you're interested in anything property investment, business, mindset, and scaling. Then this is definitely the channel for you. And if you get value from this video in particular, make sure to tap the like button. It really does help get the video out to more people like you. So let's jump in from a few different angles. So let's start off when you are starting off in property, the big do and the big don't. First of all, make sure you do full research on your area. So a lot of people get into property and they just think, well, what about the cash flow? But actually it's a lot more than that. It's about cash flow. It's about capital growth. It's about your strategy, the type of property that you're looking into, and what returns you're looking for within the first place. So don't just walk around the area. Don't just look online about what the rent's going to be. Don't just look at the purchase price, because on paper you can buy a 40 grand or 35 grand property in a small mining village in the northeast, but nobody really buys property there. Everyone's a renter. But on paper, that looks like a really high return. Well, that's great getting a cheap property. Well, no, because you can't refinance it because the mortgage lending would be too low. And the types of tenants that you're going to get in there, which isn't everyone, are going to leave you with your pipes ripped out and maybe not paying rent. So when I'm researching an area, I want to be as inclusive as possible. So I specifically target West Yorkshire for my portfolio, okay? I source all over the UK, as you'll probably know, but in West Yorkshire, I like focusing on it because it just happens to be, in my opinion, the best area in the UK to invest right now, and I foresee that being the next decade. So it's got the perfect capital growth, the rental returns, tenant type, and net returns in my bank account, getting a great bang for my buck. So that's why I do it and in West Yorkshire, and make sure you do your own research. And if you're interested in getting some help in investing in West Yorkshire, just put APG in the comments below and we can have a chat about how I can help you out. The big don't when you are starting out is don't assume this is easy money. You have to be able to divide up active income and passive income. Now, active income, you can develop quite quickly. You can make thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands every single month if you work smart and graft around an exchange of value. Passive income is slightly different. First of all, the returns are a lot less. I can invest £1,000 in marketing and get £10,000 back. Wow. Active income, 1,000% return on investment. If I got a 20% return on investment, that would be insane. Really, what you're looking for in property is a solid 8, 9, or 10% return on your investment. That is great. And then you've got your rental increase, your capital increase, etc. But that's what most people are going to be targeting with a return. Just understand that it is not get rich quick. It's not get rich quick. It's an investment. It takes time, it takes experience, it takes dedication and attention over a span of years and years and years. You are not going to become financially free in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. The next is strategy. Do's and don'ts of strategy. First of all, do have a strategic plan. And when I'm saying this, I mean an end-to-end. So first of all, ask yourself why. Not many people do this. Why property? Is it because other people talk about property? Is it because you want to make money? Is it because you want to travel the world? Is it you want to spend more time with your kids? Whatever it is pertinent to you, okay? You need to understand why you're getting into something so that you know what you want to get out of something. If you're going into something and just going, yeah, everyone else is talking about this, sounds really exciting, you're going to give up because it's hard. It's hard. Everything worthwhile is hard. It's not easy despite what everyone seems to want to spout out there. It takes time, it takes energy. So you need to know what you're looking to get out of it. I also think it's really important to connect you to why you're doing it in the first place. Because the amount of people that say, yeah, I want to travel the world. Amazing, including myself sometimes, by the way, say, yeah, I really want to do this. And so, well, when's the last time you did that? It's a bit different now during lockdown and stuff like that. But if you're out of that, what's getting in the way? Okay, and connecting it, people go, oh, I want to spend more time with their kids. 5 years in, they're working harder and longer than they ever have, and they haven't seen their kids in 2 years. Yeah, I'm doing it for the kids. So, okay, cool. Get aligned to what it is, and then from that, you can have an end-to-end strategic outlet. So if you know financial freedom, what does that look like? I need $2,500 a month, or $5,000 a month, or whatever it is. What strategy are you going to apply so that you've got an end-to-end process, and ultimately you can run really, really, really fast in any direction you want? But if you don't know where you're trying to get to, how do you know if you're winning or not? You need to know the outcome. You need to know the destination for you to measure how well you're getting on towards your goals. The big don't of strategy is don't not have a strategy. Like, seriously, don't wing it. And I know that's kind of the opposite of the point I'm just making, but seriously, the amount of people that come into property, and what happens is, well, if you're new to property, let me ask you this. What ways can you make money in property? Now, if you're new, and this is one of the first videos, you're thinking, buy a property, refurbish it, and let it out, and then maybe refinance it every 5 years. Or you're thinking, buy it, refurbish it, and sell it on. They're known as BRRs, or buy-to-lets, and flips, right? But here's what happens when you start getting into the world of property. You realize there's buy-to-lets, BRRs, rent-to-rent, lease options, industrial conversions, commercial conversions, assisted sales, flips, exchange for delayed completions, I said assisted sales already. Loads of different strategies, okay? And the problem with that is if you don't really have a strategy to your outcome, you're going to get what is known as the magpie effect, or shiny penny syndrome. And then what happens is, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Oh, it's quite a lot harder than they said it would be on that course. And you know what? The real world application of this is actually quite tough. And then you look over and you go, oh, I've been doing rent to rent. That's what I've been doing. And then you look over that person, you go, they've done buy-to-lets, and they seem to be pretty good. Tell you what, I'll go look at buy-to-lets. And then you go, you know what, this is really good, I'm gonna go raise loads of money. Hold on, what? People don't wanna give me millions of pounds when they've got no experience? That's not what they said to me. Oh, that guy's doing lease options. Lease options doesn't need money, right? Apart from the fact lease options are completely different tenant type, completely different product type, property type, vendor situation, the negotiation's completely different, the contracts are completely different. It's a complex tactic on something. And the problem with having this shiny penny syndrome, and I'm here to tell you as somebody that is completely unbiased, not against strategies because I've got the ones that I love, but being as completely unbiased as I can, they all work. They all make money, from a lease option to a new build development site. They all make money. You just need to think about how long you're willing to wait for the money, what risk you want to take, what experience you've got, what education you've got, what financial support you've got, yours or other people's money. And if you can look at those 5 things in a sequential way and approach them with an attack mentality, you will understand why you picked lease options, why you picked buy-to-lets. But if you try to wing it, I can near guarantee 5 years from now, I'll be talking to a person that has dipped their toe in every single pool, every single strategy, but you haven't jumped in, you haven't dived, and you haven't learned to swim. Finally, I want to talk about financing. The do's and don'ts of financing. Do think strategically and have a more wholesome approach to your financing needs. So what a lot of people won't do is have a strategic plan around financing. They'll just go, yeah, I'll just talk to a bank, just see what the best lender is. But actually, if you know that you've got investment coming in cash, you've got some stocks that you're going to liquidate to come across, all of those sort of things, what you might be shocked about is you don't need cash at all. And I'll go through that in a moment. But if you can give a full overall picture to a specialist broker, a broker isn't just about getting you a mortgage for that property. A broker, a good broker, is understanding what your financial plans are, what your plans are with your investment strategies, what you're going to be looking at down the line. And the more and more involved they are in your financial decisions, the better they are to, a better place they are to give you advice, okay? So you need to be thinking about that. What I mean about like not liquidating stocks is some of you, and I know it's not going to be many of you, some of you will have a decent chunk in stocks because most people, or a lot of people that get into property, they were in stocks before, you know, people in corporate jobs building up and just putting it in a stocks and shares ISA or something like that. And then they've realized there's probably more money in property. So we're going to focus on that. So I've had investors with £500,000 in stocks. You don't actually need to move that money from stocks. What you can do is use that as an asset charge. So a good broker would be able to get a lender to give you, say, 400,000 against that £500,000, and you can use that cash to buy property. Pretty cool, right? And it's very, very cheap. But unless you thought strategically and gave a broker that is financially qualified to give that advice, you wouldn't be able to get that. Finally, I want to wrap up with a big don't of finances. Please don't focus on the cheapest interest rate. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but when people are financing their deals, like buy-to-lets, for example, you're always going, well, what's the lowest interest rate out of this? What's the lowest amount I could get? And the problem with doing that sort of thing is if you're only focusing on the monthly amount, you're forgetting everything else. How much are they charging you for the RIC survey? Because some people just go, yeah, £700 when it's like 250. What they're not telling you is it's only that short rate for the first year, but you're stocked for 4 and it goes up. Well, they are telling you that, but it's in the small print. What they're not telling you is that if you refinance in the first 2 years, you're going to pay a £2,000 fee. What they're not telling you is how big the proc fees are in the background, which is what the mortgage brokers are getting. So they're financially motivated. A load of different things that you need to consider when you're getting lending. So for me, if I've got the option of a 3.2% and a 3.8% interest rate, but the 3.8% I can refinance at any point with no penalties, and I know they're a really good lender, and I know the surveyors on the panel and they're favourable to me, I am willing to pay that extra. And remember, as I always say, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And for me, all the way through, I'm focusing on value, and so should you. So I know that video was a bit different to normal, but I really wanted to attack on some of the do's and don'ts of the biggest things that I see people making these mistakes on their property investment. So focus, get your strategy, get your finances, and start with that right mindset. And of course, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're not already. Make sure to hit that notification bell just so you see the next video to come up. And hey, it would really help me out if you just lightly tap the like button on your way out. It really does help the YouTube algorithm, help me get this video to more people just like you. And hey, if you're going to be on YouTube anyway, before moving on, you might want to check out this video.